beautiful souls. I am here today with a tutorial to finally put together the Caddy. For those of you who purchased the kit, these were included in the kit, and in case you were confused, this was to make a Caddy. These were the cutoffs for the armoire. These were the parts that cut off that were the opening of the armoire, and I had way too many of these and I didn't want them to go to waste. It just would have been too much of paper scraps for me to use, so I decided, well, let me include it because I did make a Caddy years ago using these parts. So we're gonna finally put one of these together. And of course you're gonna choose your designer paper. Since this was the kit I created for the armoire, which is the Marie Antoinette Boutique digital collection or printable collection, this is what I'm going to use to cover the Caddy. I want to share that I printed these out on photo paper, and I have to tell you that the quality is amazing when you print on photo paper, which is also like another cardstock. The quality is way better than cardstock, and the colors and the smoothness is way better than printing it on just regular cardstock. So I will be choosing my papers. We're going to use this to trace because this has a decorative edge, so we're going to use this to trace on the designer paper, and you're going to want to trace this 2 times. For one, you know, for front and back, for the inside and the outside, right? Okay, so for the second piece, I actually shortened it because I want my Caddy to be, the back to be taller than the front. Okay, so it's essentially gonna look like this. One is taller, one is shorter. If you want to know, I cut off 2 inches from here up. That's 2 inches that I cut off. And now I can go ahead and trace the designer paper I'm going to put on this for the inside and the outside. Okay, we're going to need a piece of cardstock, preferably a heavyweight cardstock like 110, and this measures 5 3/4 by 4 1/4, and this will be scored on all 4 sides at a 1/2 inch. So 1/2 inch, rotate, 1/2 inch, rotate, 1/2 inch, rotate, 1/2 inch. We only need 1 of these. We're also going to need 2 sheets of cardstock that measure 7 1/4 by 4 1/4, and we're going to score on the long side also a 1/2 inch and a 1/2 inch, only on 2 sides on the long sides. That's all the scoring we're going to do, and we're going to do it for the second one as well. What I've also done is, since this is shorter, the measurements we have for the sides, it's going to be too tall for this. So what I did was I measured down 2 inches, and then I drew from there all the way to here. This is what I essentially did. So I gave it a little, sort of like a little design, so when this is against this is going to be cut off. As a matter of fact, I'll cut it off in a moment. So this will match the front, and nothing up here got cut because we need that for the height of this one. I took the other one, and where there's a dip on the score line, that's the part that's going to be facing the outside of the box. You always want to fold your cardstock against that dip. You don't want to fold it towards the dip. You want to fold it away from the dip. Okay, so I went ahead and took the other side and turned it around, so the dip is on this side and you see the bump on this side. So I'm going to put them together, and I'm going to cut them both at the same time so they can both be even. Right, and now I can use this as a guide to cut my papers as well. People are still doing fireworks, and it's really late. You know, they think that they're the only ones that live in the neighborhood, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, here it is, and then this is the back side. So now we have this thing going on here, which I absolutely like. So I cut out all my layers using the base as a template. When I cut out these sides, I ended up folding these in, and then I traced around it. And sometimes I had to go back in and trim just a little bit of the layer itself. Because when we draw around it, it becomes a little bit bigger. Okay, so keep that in mind. I have the outside and the inside layer here. And for this, I will only be gluing the outside layers. I won't be gluing the inside, okay? Just the outside before we assemble. This one as well. Put this one to the side. This is the inside layer, and I will be gluing the outside. Here I have inside and outside layers, so I will only be gluing the outside and put the inside layer to the side. And this one as well. This is the outside layer. I'm putting this to the side. Oh, I'm sorry. Putting the inside layer to the side and just gluing the outside layer there. Okay. And then for the bottom, I'm going to go ahead and glue what's going to be the inside and the outside. And I cut within that score line on the layer, for the layer, and I will be gluing that in place as well. And the same thing with this, I glue within the inside of that score line. I cut the layer, the decorative piece, inside that score line. Cut your decorative piece inside the score line. This is going to be my bottom, and this is going to be the inside, and glue them in place before we assemble. Here I lined all of the pieces only on the outside, what's going to be the outside. We're going to have to make some small cuts here, and I'm going to angle it just a little bit. I'm just cutting off that little square that had the score lines, and I just cut it up to these score lines up here. Okay, that's all I did. We're gonna do the same thing with these and the corners. And the bottom. And that's all the trimming we're gonna do. And hopefully there's no more fireworks or firecrackers. I'm not judging them, even though they're doing it when people are sleeping because they have to go to work in the morning, or whatever it is they, you know, people do when they go to bed early. I'm not judging them or criticizing them for doing that. That's for me to transcend, because we only can change ourselves and work on ourselves. We can't do anything about what anybody else does. And reacting to that and lashing out to that is what's considered passive aggressive, and that doesn't help you, especially you, because you know, having all these emotions that are not even good for you, but it caters to who the person is, and it's just going to be a back and forth battle, and nobody's going to listen to anybody anyway, you know. And you know, we exerted that energy for nothing, because they're still going to do it anyway. That is their level of awareness. That is where they are. That's how they're coping with their own lives. That, you know, they're not considering anybody else's. And that's their lesson to learn. That's all that is. It's just their lesson to learn. It's their it's what they're experiencing, and they have to transcend. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna flip this over. This is my bottom. This is the back, this is the bottom, and I am going to glue all these pieces underneath that score line. We don't want to glue it on the score line, because it's going to interfere with the folding. So I'm going to go ahead and do this first. Okay. I'm paying attention to the direction of the paper. So if you have directional paper that you want to put in the inside, you want to make sure you align that accordingly. So there it is. Now I want to make sure when I put the sides on that, you know, because this is also directional, this fancy cut, this is going to be towards this way, and that has to be glued there. Okay, so this is essentially what we're doing here. Okay, So I'm going to go ahead and put these in position. This one, this one, this one, this one, because I'm going to flip it over so I can add the adhesive. Again, we're going to align this under the score line. We're going to follow the lines here, the lines here, the lines here with the line here, so it can be even. And all we got to do now is add our adhesive to these tabs on the outside and on this outside tab as well. And repeat on this side, and there you will have your beautiful caddy. Isn't that lovely? And then you can go ahead and decorate, and then of course add your liners in the inside. And you're pretty much done with this, and you decorate it as you wish. I will come back to share how I decorated it. Look how beautiful. And I didn't print double of these, so I just used, you know, another paper that would match on the sides there. The same thing with here. I didn't print double, so I didn't cut the same design that I have here for the sides, but I love that look. I love that look anyway. I decorated the box using some of the, well, actually most of the embellishments and paper collection that I had created for the Marie Antoinette Boutique physical kit. These trims here, these lace trims, were not in the kit, and neither were these flowers, but this doll was. She actually comes with different parts for you to layer. As you can see, she is dimensional. All right, now the masquerade mask and this frame and the flowers, this is a part of the digital kit. These are the fussy cuts, or the die cuts that you have to fussy cut. And then these trims here, this lace trim and this one here and this one here, these are pieces that I cut off out of a bigger lace applique, and I've used it sparingly. And then this here was one of the appliques that were included in the physical kit, and I just added these stems or sprays. Okay, so that's what I did there. And then I went to town with stickles. I don't know if it shows up, but I know the frame, you can see it stickled on the edges, and I did stickle the whole masquerade mask, including around the edges where the eyes go. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I didn't do anything to the sides. I left the back blank. I just wanted to focus on embellishing the front of the box, decorating it. And this is such a nice caddy, you know. This is great to house things. You can use this, you know, to put your cards in, the cards you create, or you can use it as a stationery, you know, put your pens and your pencils or whatever. I'm going to make I really do need a planner. I really do. I need to crack down and start making myself a planner, because I can't get myself to have a real solid routine going on, and I've been wanting to crack down on that. So I am gonna make a planner. I'll probably use this like to put stickers in for the planner or what have you. So we'll see. So there it is. Let me know if you know, you go on ahead and make your caddy using this tutorial. And for those who bought my kit on Instagram, I will let them know that I finally did a tutorial to make the caddy. Okay, I wish you all a peaceful day, a peaceful week, a peaceful the rest of your life. And if you can't, let's not affect anybody else where they start feeling uncomfortable because we don't feel at peace. Let's be kind to our minds and be kind to others. Let's share, be fair, be filled with love, and love one another. Take good care, everybody.